Good morning, YouTube. Or morning. I don't know how good it is for you. For me, it's good. I got a new job, doing what I do, doing what I'm studying to do. It's massively underpaid, but it is what it is. Like they tell you up front, this is what you're going to get. Hold on, it's about to get really loud in here. Okay, it shouldn't get much louder, So I've been doing this thing called making coffee moments on the other app. But I got up earlier and did that already, and I'm still making coffee and my kids' breakfast. So, hold on a second. Speaking of which, where is he? Quentin? Why are you not in the dining room watching YouTube for breakfast? You better not have gone back to bed, sir. You need to come out here. We're not going to miss the bus today. Every day he makes me miss the bus. Anyway, so it is doing what I do. It is technically volunteering for a year, but you get a living stipend. It's one of those things like you would do out of college or in college, as it were. Part of the deal is at the end I get extra money for college that I can either put towards student loans or to current schooling or whatever, which is great. It doesn't matter. I either not take my private loan or, pay off some of the one I already have, whatever. But it is only a year, which kind of is icky. And it is doing what I want to do, though. It is helping change how we deal with trauma and trauma-informed care at a systemic, training type level. And giving the trainings and really being out, making a difference. I already set it up so you can just pick your show. You don't need the code or anything, or you shouldn't. It should already be set up. But you took so long, who knows? But anyway, so I'm excited about that. I'm not super excited to be going back to work because I spent years working and taking care of other people. My whole life I've worked. And I worked with my husband moved in with us. I took care of him for years. And then I had brain surgery. And then I went back to work. And then we agreed I was going to stop to take care of my health so that we could maybe expand our family. And then we did expand our family before I got time to take care of my health. And then COVID happened, and it just made more sense to stay home than to go back to work. But I spent all that time taking care of him and my family, and my boys. Not that I begrudge that. That was my choice. That's what I wanted to do. But I finally am at a point where I decided I was ready to take care of myself. My son was old enough that I could go to school, that I could get the education that I was supposed to get back when I was 18, and the trauma got me off course. I was 18, I was a straight A student. I went from being a straight A student to not completing high school due to executive function issues because I just could not go to school. Not I didn't want to. I physically wanted to. I couldn't. Have you ever had a text message you tell yourself, I want to return that, I'll do it in a little bit, and 6 months later, you still haven't returned a text message? That's executive function issues. I have that with a lot of things. I want to put my laundry away. I've been trying to put my laundry away for weeks. I love when I put laundry away. I love having the laundry away. It makes me feel good when the laundry's away. But I can't bring myself to I don't know. It's not that there's no time. I've done tons of other chores. I've done harder chores that are less beneficial, less rewarding. I cleaned the floor. There used to be a giant coffee stain here. I cleaned it spotless, which makes no sense because it's just going to get another stain because it's right under my coffee area. My kids are savages. And I just dropped some cream there too. I'm talking about my kids like it's always their fault, but they just dropped some cream there. Oh man, life hack, right? Hold on, I want to show you something, but I got to stop this dripping. It's driving me crazy. I have 2 pictures for a reason, but I didn't have one ready. So I got a new floor vac. It's a floor vac mop thing. And the one thing that I hate about the floor vac mop thing is that when you go to dump it, you have choices. You can dump it in the utility sink, you can dump it in the main sink, you can dump it in the toilet. Or you can dump it outside, but that's not an option in the middle of winter. It's freezing out there. I'm just going to have piles of goo outside. Now, I would typically, just like a mop bucket, throw it outside. If I could. If you don't throw your mop bucket outside, you have property and you're not throwing it outside, rethink your life. Unless you have a mop sink, why are you not? Because anything else is going into your pipes But anyway, so life hack if you can't throw it outside, use one of these, right? As a sink drainer instead of this thing. You may have to take like I take a chopstick or a fork, whatever's dirty in the sink, and like keep wiping it because the grate does get full of hair real quick. But I use that because it lets the water strain real easy. There's that ADHD I talked about. Anyway, sorry, it was just like so that way all that nastiness doesn't go into my drain, and then I have to turn around and strain that out too. All right, my son's breakfast is ready. He is getting. Do you want cinnamon on the apples or regular apples, sir? Sir, you have oranges and apples. Do you want cinnamon on the apples or do you just want them regular? Because I don't know how cinnamon goes with oranges. Regular? Okay. I think that's a good plan. I don't know how cinnamon sugar would go mixed with orange. Anyway, I want to talk about something a little more serious than all this, but I'm babbling intentionally until I get done getting the breakfast together. Because I have to go tell my son a story now about his breakfast. You're not going to see him, because if I show him, the tube will ban this. So, not that I have a massive amount of followers, I think I have 2 right now. But I have 2 and I like them. Okay, so it is rubble today. And rubble knocked down a bunch of buildings and put a bunch of orange explosives. What's he going to do next? Jump, 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 jump. Jump on the explosives. He jumped on the explosive, they blew up and threw him into your mouth. That was very smart of him. Silly rubble. Anyway, see, you didn't see him. We do that every morning. We tell a story with the vitamin. I don't know why. He has no problem eating his vitamin tray. I think it's just fun. Okay. I finally signed up to go back to school. I was going to take care of myself. And I'm going 6 classes at a time, 3 semesters a year. You know, most people go 5 classes, 2 semesters, and they take summer off, and they may take 1 or 2 classes in summer to catch up on something. I was going full time, like going hard. And then my husband, who had been getting better in all ways, working with a therapist was really good for him and having his meds figured out, dived right off the deep end. Worst I've ever seen him his entire life, my entire life, and pieced out. And I genuinely feel like it's because I started taking care of myself. Lost a bunch of weight, started going to the gym and working on my health, started making the house better because it turned into a giant hoard over the years. I won't blame on him, but a lot of it was like I would clean and he would mess, and I would clean and he would mess, and I would clean and the kids would mess. And I just, my kids know how to clean. I've never been like above teaching my children, but he came in my life, and it's not that he had this like wouldn't do anything. When he first came in, he would do everything. He actually believes it's how you show love, by like cleaning or taking the trash out or changing a light bulb or, but then he would just like not also. He would just not get out of bed until 4 every time he was not working. So, I mean, I don't want to go into that much, except for that I as much as this is the perfect job for me, and I love the idea of the job. If I have to go back to work, this is the best job I can go back to. I wasn't supposed to be going back to work. I was supposed to be focusing on school, and I'm a little mad about that. Well, the other downside is that it doesn't pay like $1 billion an hour. It is going to pay about $450 a week. I do believe it doesn't affect my food stamps and my medical. That's what I was told. I was told that we get a letter from HR that tells food stamps that this is not income and it shouldn't affect those things. I'm not sure. I don't remember ever getting one of those the whole time I worked for DHS. Department of Human Services, not Department of Homeland Security or whatever, which is what we're going to talk about in a moment. Totally different. Anyway, which brings us nicely to the next 2 topics. One is the files. Over 1 million times he's referenced in the unredacted files that are still redacted, by the way. So I don't look at this from a lawyer point of view, and I don't look at this from a politician point of view. And I love Heather Richardson. I get a lot of my information from her. She looks at it from a historical point of view. I look at it from the point of view of trauma-informed care. So to me, America is a gaslit, battered wife, and the very small core of the administration that is racist and bigoted and fascist, and they are the abusive husband. And what you have to remember in an abusive situation is that often the person who believes the bad stuff is only the one person. But somehow he has power to convince you that it's everybody around you. It's not everybody. It's just the very small central core. The people closest to him. Miller and Bannon and Crispy and Vance and Blondie, obviously. She's obviously drank the Kool-Aid. Um, what's her name? The one they had faking being a district attorney, but now she's gone anyway. And a lot of them can't even... I'm taking Motrin. I'm about to take some Motrin. I always have to point this out in case people are worried. This is Motrin migraine. I have a horrible migraine this morning. Yesterday I took a leave. It was just a leave. The Motrin, see? And yes, I take it with coffee, which is not something I would normally do, but my coffee is now lukewarm, so it's okay. So... when you look at this administration, they set us up with this presupposition that there's these evil, violent aliens. Aliens are coming to invade a town near you. If there were millions of violent aliens running around the streets, you wouldn't be able to not find them. You wouldn't have to go to churches and schools and green card confirmation hearings. You wouldn't have to randomly stop people with Hispanic last names and brown skin color. You would be tripping over them. And the things that they say, so here's the problem, is that politicians are not required to tell the truth. We think because they're a politician, they go on TV, they're telling the truth. They're not. They're not required to. They can lie to you. We know politicians are liars. That's why so many people wanted non-politicians in the White House. So they go on TV and they say things like, we have to catch the criminals. Look at the pictures of these people. These people could be criminals. Well, they could, or they could just be pictures that you randomly print. Like, literally, one of them was screen frozen from Fox Network, and they did like a reverse Google search, and it was just like the pictures that you get inside like photo frames. It had nothing to do with actual criminal charges on anybody. It was just a compilation of faces, and because they flashed it so quickly, like nobody knew what the crimes were. Actually, one of the representatives in the oversight hearing said that yesterday. He was like, "Well, they show pictures, and do I know if they're criminals or not? No, but I mean, there are crimes listed under their names. Well, are there? Because we never actually get to read what any of that says. And I can take 12 pictures, put on a page, and write 12 crimes, and it doesn't mean anything." In case you're wondering, I also am a certified News Initiative ambassador from Penn State, meaning I am actually taught to teach about this. Not about politics, about thinking critically and not being gaslit. So, the big one that's on my heart, though. So, Trump is in the Epstein files more than 1 million times. Little children got raped. They got traumatized for their entire lives. When a trauma happens, you are not the same person afterwards. There's the before and there's the after. Think of anything in your life that you refer to as like since the surgery, since the accident, since the fire, since the firing, since I got married, because marriage is also, even if it's good, a trauma. You know, since the baby was born, it's good, but it's a massive trauma. It's a change to the homeostasis of the system in which you never return to normal. If you break a bone, it does grow back thicker, and the muscle around it builds up stronger. But it's still a trauma. If you get that needle thing in your skin that's supposed to, like, they beat you up with needles, it's basically like rubbing, I don't know, easy, oh god, I did that once, a magic eraser. I didn't realize a magic eraser has tiny shards of glass in it, so I used one real quick, because I thought it was just like a normal sponge. I just grabbed it, and I used it on my skin to take off this, I had to wear a heart patch for like a month, and the goo was really seriously goo level glue. I tried to just grab a sponge, and it turned out to be a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and the fiberglass or whatever it is that's in there, the little grains, tore my skin to pieces. Okay, so there's this thing you do where you like purposely use an astringent like that, like take some exfoliation beyond exfoliation, it's like microneedling or whatever it's called, and then you put collagen in there, and as your skin heals, it heals better. But it's still a massive trauma, right? Okay, so traumas can be good things, is all I'm saying. But these traumas aren't, okay? All these children, young women and children, and some of them probably were male, some of the offenders were female. And I do take disagreement too. A lot of people are saying, well, once you turn 18, you're no longer a victim. It's very tough to say that because, yes, maybe you crossed the line when you helped, like, bring a friend into the world or something. And you should be, for her justice, held accountable. But what was the situation? Did you have a choice? Did you have an out? Were you so trained by that point? I mean, I think we have to be careful. Not to say that we automatically say, oh, you're still a victim, but also not that we automatically say you aren't. His names are million, like, in the full unredacted files, over 1 million times, they said. But it's only in 35,000 times in the ones they released. So don't tell me they're not protecting him. And the ones that are unredacted that they didn't, like, that they redacted before they showed us, so they took out hundreds of thousands of his, like, 999,000, or 965,000, I guess. I'm doing the math real quick. Which is 95% of the times his name shows up. But there's still 3 million files that they haven't given us. And the unredacted was redacted. Because the FBI redacted it before it gave it to the DOJ. So the DOJ could say, well, these are all we have. And Cash Patel and Pam Bondi spend all their time together. They're like BFFs, dude. So don't tell me they didn't plan that out. I don't give either of them great credit for being as smart as they are, which is part of the problem, because they are smart. They're idiots, but they're smart idiots. But then if you watch the confirmation hearing the oversight hearings that went on this weekend, both about ICE and about the Epstein files, over and over and over again, the Republicans are saying exactly the wrong things, no matter how good they sound. For example, in the Department of Homeland Security funding oversight hearing, the cons are like, don't you believe that violent criminals should be taken off the streets? Well, sure. Of course they should. That has nothing to do with immigration, though. Less than 7% of the people that DHS has picked up had any type of violent crime associated with their name. And yet we're stacking bodies in literal Amazon warehouses. After World War II started, after Pearl Harbor, we took the Japanese Americans. Whether they'd been born here, born in Japan, we didn't care. And we stuck them in camps. And they weren't prison camps. They were supposed to be humane. We were above being the Holocaust that was going on the other side of the country, or the world, I'm sorry. We were just protecting ourselves until we were sure that they were safe and the war was over and all that. And people died. Because that's what happens when you take that many people. You can't even keep track of them. You shove them in warehouses. They're not getting medical help. They're not being taken care of. These are not hotels. Their liberties are being taken away. Their freedom's being taken away. And they're dying. And they're telling you it's to get violent criminals off the streets, but none of them are violent criminals. They're your neighbors. They're your coworkers. They're your friends. They're your family. They are you in a very real way. Gavin's at school. I will be there in a second. I have a couple minutes left before I have to get him ready for school anyway. But I'm going to come back to this video later, I think. Because you have to start thinking if you want to stop being gaslit. And you start questioning, are we really safe right now? How many violent criminals really are there? Were there really that many murders and thefts going on in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania? Because there weren't. I mean, there weren't. Should Renee Good have to have gone home in a country where none of us want to be told what to do? Aren't you the party of less government? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm hurt. I wish I could stop. And the other thing is, we need to talk about the response to the BS over the Super Bowl. How are you going to sue him for speaking Spanish? You don't even know what he said, but you're going to sue him? That's so ignorant. You sound so stupid. Hire a translator first, and then see if anything he said was any worse than anything else I would have said. And then you still don't sue the performer because he didn't air it. You would have to sue the NFL. Good luck with that. You want to sue the NFL? Really? I mean, I understand that Trump's still mad that he wasn't allowed to have a football team, but come on now. Okay, but those of you who said, can't we just get over it and get back to politics or football now? Let's get our politics out of our sports, blah, blah, blah. If you woke up brown, if you speak Spanish, if that is your culture being represented, the same way as if you are dark-skinned or African American and you feel represented by the apes trope that he just used for the Obamas, or you're female and you feel represented every time he talks about grabbing women by the pussy because he can, or you have children and you don't like pedophiles, or whatever marginalized group he's marginalizing this week. The first thing that Trump did in office was spend billions of dollars to get rid of TQ plus from every website, document, pamphlet, flyer, reference of the law, etc., which is not legal, by the way. You can't go change the laws just because you don't like them. But less than 3% of the human population is trans. They're already marginalized beyond marginalization. He is creating division and creating enemies, and that's all he's doing. But imagine waking up and being told, hey, we know that the president of the country just said that you're un-American for existing, but can you just get over it now? If you don't care, then stay the F silent. Don't tell people who are living the reality that you don't like, because they don't have the option to get over it now, that they should just sit down and shut up. They don't have that option. Look, everybody's like, oh, I'm so tired of this. I'm so done with it. I'm so burnt out. I'm so over it. I'm going to go watch, the next season of Stranger Things and stay away from the news for a while. Or I'll go watch Becoming and remember when life was happy. And, I said it. Nobody's watching the other First Lady thing that came out at the same time, ironically, or coincidentally, or whatever. I really gotta go. I shouldn't have started this when I had to go. Wake up. Wake up. Stop being rude. A little tiny bit of cultural awareness and sensitivity. The tiniest bit. And you could be a better human being. Alright.